420 MSP. We are back with Chuck Maines, the hemp lobbyist for the state of Texas, and one of the most positive and optimistic analysts we have out here on the 420 MSP ranch. How you doing, Chuck?
Good. How are you doing, Harry?
Good. So you've been surviving hurricane season down in your region?
No, we actually, that's what I'm doing up here right now, is we had Hurricane Laura come through here 2 weeks ago. And we pretty much managed to survive most of it. We had some small trees come down and some branches and some debris, and it's just been some minor cleanup. But the folks down south of us, they got hit hard, and they're going to be cleaning up for a while. I mean, it's pretty devastating down there.
Yeah. Yes, but the TV crews leave after 24 hours and you tend to forget, but the people have to live with it for months. Hey, what are all those bugs flying around out there before we get going?
So these are our local residents out here. They are called love bugs, and they are making their appearance, their a couple times a year appearance this week while we're up here working outside. So, it's just great. But yeah, this is the season that love bugs come out, and I guess they're mating, but they're, as you can see, they're all over the place. They're covered. Your car will be covered with them.
Yeah,
they're all over the doors, the windows. Yeah,
I can see it. Okay, well, hey, let's get down to business. This month we're talking about the Medical Cannabis Coalition in Texas. So what is the story?
So, as I think we've talked about before, Harry, when the legislature passed in 2015 the medical marijuana bill, it was started by basically a group, one small group that was advocating on behalf of epilepsy. And once the bill passed, since that time, of course, you've seen how it is around the country. This has become a issue that groups have becoming for either for-profit or non-profit have started coming together and building coalitions. You saw after that bill passed, every session, there's more and more registered lobbyists and groups that are on the front of either expanding medical or expanding the issues that you can get medical under. We right now in Texas, we have 3 registered medical cannabis companies that are able to dispense, and they do everything. They grow, they dispense.
Wow, that is news.
Yeah, the bill that was originally passed said up to 5, but we, being on the conservative side, the governor decided that when we start out, we're going to start out with 3. Well, as you know, or I don't know, we may have talked about this, but last session they expanded the amount of what you could use it for. Love bugs.
Yeah, here, I'm going to swat at them too, man.
We expanded the number of uses that you could go and use medical marijuana for. So, and that was because of coalitions that in the state that have pushed it. And then the push is now for a lot more. I mean, it's to expand it. It's to, it's to make not just to be medical now. I mean, there's recreation groups out there too. And we all do work together. It's just, again, you've specific interest groups that are formed together, and we're seeing that in Texas.
Yeah. So I have a question. Let me go to my Gmail account and see if I can bring it up. I can ad-lib it. Yeah, I'm not going to see, of course. But my point is this. On my Gmail account, I get notifications from the Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Control Board about board meetings and this and that. And I actually clicked through one fine day and listened. And to be honest, is a little boring. I'm a little too entrepreneurial for those bureaucratic procedural meetings.
Oh yeah.
But what I found, or I concluded, was, they go through their agenda and they have these, very specific things, often with administrative code number references or something. And they then ask for comments, and nobody on the line commented. And it struck me that, wow, if I'd raised my hand and commented, I mean, that might be impactful for these people. If they're not getting any feedback, well, shoot, man, I should raise my hand and say, hey, I think you should allow these facilities within 500 feet of a church, that kind of thing. And my point is, it's surprisingly easy to participate in the government affairs side, and I suspect they'd welcome it because it was kind of dead silence, man.
100%. Harry, like here with like the HIP bill that just passed, there were 3 state agencies that are overseeing different aspects of the bill, and the biggest would be the dishes, which is overseeing the retail manufacturing side of like CBD, hemp oil, and stuff like that. That process has been interesting because it was a blank slate. They had their rules that the legislature gave them exactly what they had to follow, but they didn't know from a business perspective or just common practice what are specific things. So we, along with the other groups out there, the coalitions, we met and we did stakeholder meetings with the agency to help them come up with, all right, this is what the law says. You're allowed to have 3, whatever, but we need to say specifics or whatever, there's just general, and it was doing that during that stakeholder process with the coalition. And that's how we came up with these rules.
Yeah, and I'll end on this. I also had this expressed, as I have shared with you and the listeners. I grew up in Alaska, and try to get back once or twice a year, and so still have some friends up there, and a couple friends at the state of Alaska, and I'm thinking the Department of Transportation. And I was told by one of these friends that write a letter, write a letter to comment on something at the DOT. She said you would be amazed at how effective that can be, right? If you write a letter, because first of all, you may be the only letter.
Yeah.
And they have to take that into consideration, right? It's part of a workflow. And it really opened my eyes. Again, I'm not sure, no offense, I'm not sure that's necessarily what wakes me up every morning, but I can appreciate what you guys are doing.
Part of the process. But it's something interesting in Texas is some of the agencies, like dishes, I think they received something like 700 comments on these on these rules that were just put out. Every comment, they will go and they will answer that comment. Okay, we've addressed whatever this issue is in this section, blah 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 blah, or the agency doesn't have jurisdiction on that or something. But they will address the questions or comments that are put in. So kind of a interesting scenario, and it's good for people like us, so we can go and be like, okay, well, you said this, so we need further clarification, or let's expand on that, whatever. So
very cool. All right, Chuck, well, let's get you back inside, away from all them love bugs. We'll talk to you.
All right, Harry, good talking to you.
All right, thanks.